Welcome YouTube, Bobby G here. Today I want to discuss the need for having a quarantine tank, as I'm going to display to you right now what can happen. I call it looming disaster. So let's talk. Alright, so these fish, this is a quarantine tank that I have, and these fish are 2 weeks since I've had them. I had them for 10 days. Everything looked really good. They were, these fish were stunning looking fish. And then all of a sudden on the 10th day, they got some white spots on them. A couple of them were pretty listless. So I started treating them with a product called X. I don't know if this will show up very well. If it'll zoom on the... Oh, it doesn't want to zoom. Sorry. I'll try this now. X. I'd heard it was a really good product. Anyways, I had turned the temperature of the tank from 26 up to 29.2, which is roughly 85 degrees. And you know, I had hopes for the X to slow down the progression of the disease. And after 3 days, the fish were just simply, they were just getting worse. And so what I've resorted to using now, I started last night, was I'm using this Polyguard is what I put in last night, and I've added this morning some Canaplex. I think I'm seeing some improvement, although let's say very little. This is a Cobue peacock. Like I said earlier, this guy was absolutely stunning. I'll see if I got a picture that I can insert so that you can see what this guy looked like. I'm not sure what this is, what's happening to these guys. It's certainly more complicated than just a simple case of ick. There's actually 5 fish in here. The one Cobue, then there's 3 female cobues. And the other guy is somewhere in here. Let me find him. Maybe he's a little camera shy. It's a red empress. Yeah, he's a bit camera shy. He was also a stunning species. Now, you know, it's not to mention where I got them from, because rest assured, it's a very reputable source. And I just think sometimes these things are inevitable. I mean, we buy fish that have the night before come in on air shipment, and you know, the next day we're in buying the fish because we want the best looking ones, and so it stands to reason sometimes you're going to get bit. Fortunately, these guys, like I said, are in a quarantine tank. If this was in my display tank, I would be losing tens of fishes. You know, I have made a couple mistakes in this short process, and I suppose this is how we learn. One of my mistakes is that these 2 varieties of fish, the Red Empress and the Cobues, came from separate tanks at the store, and I should have put them in separate quarantine tanks, although my fish room isn't really set up yet. I didn't really have 2 tanks to put them in. In hindsight, I definitely would have done this differently. And I made one other big mistake that I feel terrible about, is my breeding group of lithobates, my yellow blaze lithobates. The one male who had actually spawned with one of the females, he was harassing one of the other males to the point that I think that male would have been dead by the next day. So I took him out, and unfortunately I decided to put him in this tank. Well, he was the first one to die this morning, and like I say, I'm beside myself, feeling terrible about this. But I want to share this. I want to be real about this hobby with everybody. We all have setbacks, and we all make mistakes. We learn from our mistakes. But I think it's just fair to share this with people, to show people that even the best YouTubers out there, even the best fish keepers out there, you just can't be in this hobby and not have losses. So let's just hope for the best. Let's see if I can. That red empress, he's at the back behind these rocks. Well, there's one of the female cobues. This one's got kind of a unique tail on her. Not sure what the added, like the sword tail is on it, but pretty unique. I suppose that's a defect. It's not something from the disease. She had it when I got her. There's another female picking up a bit of food there. They all, when they swim, it's like they're spasming because they're so itchy, so uncomfortable. It's hard watching them, because I certainly feel that that when they're looking at me, they're crying out in pain. That's that red empress. He may come out in a minute. We'll get a better look at him, but his eye's pretty cloudy. He looks to me like his fins are rotting. The progression of this has just been astounding. I'm left not knowing what I can do. On this tank, I had been doing 50% water changes every day, and that's just what I've been doing down in the fish room here. And since this illness has cropped up, I've been doing 70% water changes every day, and then I would remedicate. There's the other side of the red empress. His eye's not as bad on this side. I don't know. He's doing a bit better, because previous days he wasn't even coming out from behind the sponge filter. So I suppose that's something of an improvement, although on the Cobue here, this white patch, whatever that is, discoloration, that's new today, so that's not a very hopeful sign. They're all breathing in a labored fashion, although I don't think it's quite as bad as it was yesterday. The Polyguard that I've put in is dosed every 3 days, and although obviously if you're doing water changes, you need to dose after your water change, and the Canaplex is an every other day dosing. I'm pretty sure it says no more than 3 doses. So I think they're pretty hardcore meds for the fish, but I can rest assured that if it wouldn't be for my efforts, these fish would be gone already. So listen, if anybody's got any suggestions, if there's any meds that you think might work better than these ones, you know, I'm open to any suggestions that you've got. And let's just hope for the best. I'll keep everybody up to date. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.